Hello.
Hi, everybody. Hope you all doing well. Oh, I got the wrong glasses on.
Oh, we'll wait. We'll wait. Just hold on.
Well,
Just
they're both red,
take your
but
time.
this one allows me to see the screen,
Right.
and these ones allow me to see my notes.
Yeah, I know. I have that problem. I just lift and lift. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm the same way.
But I can't lift because if I lift, I still can't see the screen. That doesn't help. And I can't see my notes either.
Right.
Old eyes.
Yeah.
Old eyes, which, you know what? For those who are involved in transhumanism, they'd say, you need transhumanism. You'd have super bionic eyes now.
Well,
and
that
I
was
wouldn't
an
need all the
amazing
glasses.
segue. Amazing. But didn't you want to talk about Sam's dealio on the weekend?
Oh, Sam's dealio.
Yeah, we should tell people about that. It was awesome.
It was awesome. So there was, what, about 20 people, I think, in
Around.
total that were there.
Yeah.
And Sam Tignanelli, and I know I butchered your name. I apologize,
Sure did.
Sam.
Yeah.
But he came and he did his seminar on the nature of reality. And everybody was blown away. As I said, they would be mind blown. And he really went through all the principles, the breakdowns, the acronyms. He went through evolution and creator, and there was so much. I don't even.
There's a lot. He basically tabled all of reality, put it into table format, so people could kind of assimilate what reality is, and you know, it's a series of absolutes, and it isn't really based on, you know, how you're feeling that day. So he kind of talked about the process of really working through the process of what's real and what's not, and how to do that, and what's the nature of reality in itself, which goes into time and space and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, it was force, action, space, time,
matter.
Those are your 5 keys, but everything in life, in order to get to truth, is based on the 7 W's, right? Who, what, where, when, why, and how. And I know how isn't a W, but it has a W in it. And so if you want to know what reality is and what truth is, it should be able to answer every single one of those questions and fit into force, action, space, time, and matter.
Yeah,
and
it was really good.
If it doesn't fit into those, then it's not real.
Yeah, we were there for just over 8 hours.
Yeah.
But that included eating time, which is the best part. Sorry, Sam, but
well, eating and conversation.
Objective truth, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was good. Yeah, it was, and everybody walked away extremely
happy.
Satisfied
They had to fill out. It was interactive, so they were talking and they had to fill out charts, and then they split into teams and had to fill out the chart on their own in their teams, and everybody was very excited and wanted to know when he was doing a part 2 and a part 3.
Yeah.
So
amazing.
Yeah, it was really great. So if you get the opportunity, if someone is hosting Sam in your area, I highly recommend going. Nobody really left there feeling like it was a waste of their time. Even my dad, who doesn't say a whole lot, and I thought for sure this was going to be over his head and that he would not appreciate this at all. My dad was engrossed, and near the end actually made some logical comments, and I was like, whoa, my dad is actually into this. And if my dad can sit there and be into it and involved and like really be taking in, anybody could be. And I know it definitely opened my dad's eyes in a lot of ways too.
And also, hey, Farm Up.
Hey.
Also, there was food. Did we mention it?
There was lots of food.
That was a good part. Yeah.
But I always put on a good spread for people, and 8 hours is a long time to sit and stay engaged. So we made sure everybody was properly nourished.
Yeah. So that was good. That was really good.
So thank you, Sam, for coming and putting that on for us.
And then Thursday, we made all these giant claims that we're going to have the biggest show ever. And it was a really big show that we've been meaning to do for a while. This is not that.
But it is a big show. We actually forgot what we were going to do over the weekend.
No. It's just that show was so big that we were busy getting ready for the seminar and doing the seminar all day that we didn't even get the newsletter out. So for those of you
it's coming.
Subscribe to the newsletter. It usually comes out Sunday mornings. I am sorry I did not get it out this week because that's 2 hours on its own, and it takes a lot of time.
More than 2 hours actually. But yeah.
Oh, right. Luann was there in person, and she's a big force to be reckoned with. And so she was there, and we got to hang out with her for 8 hours as well. So I'm glad you were there, Luann.
Yay.
Yeah. So instead of that show that we are still going to do, it's going to be controversial, we think.
It's for sure going to be controversial.
We're going to do this show, but we wanted to make sure that we gave you as much bang for its buck. And this is another show that is long overdue. We've kind of danced around transhumanism in many different forms, but we've never really targeted transhumanism itself. And so this is that show now. So you will not be disappointed because this is a good subject.
I was going to say, we kind of did. We did a show on biodigital convergence, which is our government and what they're doing and all the implications it has. And it is tied directly to transhumanism. But this show, we're going in depth into transhumanism.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked about all the other stuff. We talked about quantum computing and AI. We talked about all that stuff, and it's all together. And that's the thing. So this is a big subject. It's a lot bigger than we first realized when we went to go tackle it.
Yes. So do you know who coined the term transhumanism?
Well, we write this list of order down so you don't jump the gun. But you're jumping the gun.
Am I jumping the gun? I thought that's sorry. That was as I said, not my reading glasses, my screen glasses, not my reading glasses.
We rehearsed this stuff too, and that's the worst part. We don't
rehearse.
Yeah,
he's fibbing. We never rehearse. We just come in.
Well, we rehearse. Yeah.
If anyone's going to jump out of order, it's going to be me. It's 100% going to be me.
Well, we're going to start off with explaining what transhumanism is, because we always come into these things with that's right, we got to make order out of chaos, otherwise there's no purpose. So see, you a little bit of knowledge. Sorry guys. So we're going to talk about transhumanism and how it works and what it is. And so let's start by saying what it's not. It is not it's not pacemakers and colloquial implants. Those are not considered anything to do with transhumanism. And one of the biggest definers there is it's not something that repairs a portion of your body that needs repair. So it doesn't fill in that gap where your body has failed, where like it's a prosthetic or a pacemaker or a colloquial implant. It is not that. Or they've got cataract implants now or something like that too.
They do. Well, they who did I say? Did we write down the name of the gentleman that I said was the very first legally what they say, legal transhumanism person.
With the bionic eye.
With the bionic eyes. So we do have someone. I'm just looking to see if it's in my notes anywhere, if I actually wrote his name down, and I may not have.
Okay, well, I'll talk in the meantime. The other thing it's not is augmentation. So that would be Edge of Tomorrow, the exoskeletons, or something like an enhancer that that helps your body do something better. So it's not augmentation, and it's not, which most people believe, it's not even biodigital convergence, where that's implants and
well, it is. It's part of.
But that's not what transhumanism is. It is part of it, but that's not actually what transhumanism is. And so we would have normally thought that biodigital convergence really is transhumanism. That's a portion. That is. It's like a hammer is the way to put a nail into the board. It is a tool to get you to the transhumanist goal. And that's where the difference is. So what is transhumanism? Well, BBC covered it shortly here.
I was going to say there's a lot of good definitions.
The A to Z of isms, transhumanism. Most of us would consider the end of the human race as a catastrophe. There are some, however, who will not only rejoice at it, but want to hasten the day it arrives. Transhumanists look...
Oh, what happened?
I have no idea what happened.
Forward to a future in which Homo sapiens is superseded by a better, smarter, fitter model, humanity 2.0. Humans are in dire need of improvement. Any species that causes huge damage to our environment, can't feed itself even though it has enough food, and fights countless wars costing millions of lives must surely benefit from an
it looks like it's going to be a bad internet night for us.
Intelligence upgrade. Our lifespans are short. Our final years usually characterized by diminishing health and vitality, often accompanied by a drop-off in cognitive capacity. 1 in 3 people born in 2015 are expected to get dementia. Is this really the best we can hope for? Transhumanists think not. Aging could be stopped.
Well, we might have a
problem
with our videos again tonight.
Sometimes I think it's a bad idea to go live when I go live to say what we're going to be covering, because when we give them a heads up, all of a sudden we have
Sometimes we have troubles. Okay, well, that's fine. We have lots more. We got slides to cover it off as well. And so what is transhumanism?
Transhumanism is a movement that advocates for the use of technology to augment human capabilities in an effort to improve the human condition. The idea is to develop beyond biological limitations using technological advancements that enhance cognition and promote longevity. Transhumanism is a movement that advocates for the use of technology to enhance the abilities of the human mind and body. The goal of transhumanism is to transcend our natural bodily limitations, extend our lifespans, and ultimately achieve immortality. Some view transhumanism as the next logical step in evolution, leading to the creation of a post-human society, which kind of goes hand in hand with Trudeau saying we are going to be the first post-national state. Well, now they want us to also be the first post-human society.
Correct. Yeah. And then transhumanism is not just an incorporation of biotech, it's implants, the biodigital convergence that we mentioned. It's also AI, quantum computing. We'll get into that in a minute. And then it's also eugenics, which we'll talk about.
Surprised me. Well, it surprised me, but not really.
No. And then ultimately, it stems from an identity crisis and a spiritual crisis. And so transhumanism is more about philosophy and wanting to, in the eugenics vein, force the next level of evolution. And so some people believe that they have the right and the authority to do that. So that's it. That's that part in a nutshell.
That is that in the nutshell. And
now go.
Now can I say it?
Now you can say it.
So transhumanism is a term that was first coined in 1957 by Julian Huxley. He wrote the very first article talking about transhumanism. And at that time, it awed and wowed religious leaders, political leaders, philosophers, theologists, biologists, zoologists.
Yeah.
And Julian Huxley was actually a zoologist. He studied the biology of animals. He was the founder of WWF, the World Wildlife Foundation. He was the founder of that. He was a gentleman who was highly, highly respected in the scientific world. He talked about ecological genetics. He lectured on genetics, embryology, ethology. He was involved in World War I. He was actually British intelligence. That's where he worked for the war. He also was the founder of the British Humanist Association. I got to flip out of glasses there. He formed the British Humanist Association in 1963, and he was involved with the International Humanist and Ethical Union. He is also a member of the British Eugenics Society. He was actually the vice president from 1937 to 1944, and he was the president from 1959 to 1962. And interestingly enough, He was also the first director in 1946 of UNESCO, which if everybody who watches our show knows that stands for the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization.
Everybody who watches our show. I didn't know that. I had to go back and look it up. So apparently I don't even watch our show.
Yeah, and he was also involved with Planned Parenthood, restraining population growth using birth control. He actually won a couple of awards for Planned Parenthood. So this is the gentleman who has basically started the evolution of transhumanism.
Right. And so it just a little bit, this is all just surface Wikipedia stuff, but he thought eugenics was important for removing undesirable variants from the human gene pool. Though after World War II, he believed race was a meaningless concept in biology and its application to humans was highly inconsistent. And that's true. We're going to talk about eugenics. Yeah, it shifted from race, which it started out as, and moved into basically feeble-mindedness. That was they were trying to get rid of feeble-minded people. We'll get into that next time. But so before birth control methods must be taught them, he must not have the lowest. Sorry, I jumped.
Okay. Do you want me to read it?
No.
Okay.
If so, then we must plan our eugenics policy along some such lines as the following. The lowest strata, allegedly less well endowed genetically, are reproducing relatively too fast. And if you've seen Idiocracy, that's exactly what that's about. There's like Cleavon in the trailer park, and he's banging anything on two legs. And then his son is a football player, and he's doing all the cheerleaders, and so their family line progresses exponentially quick. Whereas the very intelligent couple just couldn't find the right time to have kids until he finally died, and they never did have children. So it goes with the Idiocracy, and it was the best comedy turned documentary that I've ever seen. So therefore, birth control methods must be taught to them. They must not have too easy access to relief or hospital treatment, lest the removal of the last check on natural selection should be made too easy for children to be reproduced or to survive. Long unemployment should be a ground for sterilization, or at least relief should be contingent upon no further children being brought into the world, and so on and so forth. So when we talk eugenics, we're talking like this is a thing, and we're going to go in depth on it, and we just can't wait. We're so excited to go into eugenics.
Mr. Huxley would be very disappointed at our current liberal state of affairs, where you can have children, and the more children you have, the more welfare you get paid, and the bigger your child tax credits would be, because according to this, you shouldn't get any benefits due to long-term unemployment. And if you are to get benefits, then your sterilization should be part of you getting benefits.
Right.
So he would definitely be very disappointed in our liberal government here.
So eugenics is widely thought of social sterilization, trying to get rid of, like I said, feeble-mindedness. And I didn't make that term up. I'm just repeating. And then, but also on the flip side, there is this heavy bent on saying, well, we can control evolution going forward. We're going to make the world a better place by creating a better society. Where have we heard that before? Besides World War II, threw a wrench in your works.
You did throw a wrench. What?
Yeah, that's right. So just to kind of round out the different aspects of eugenicism or transgenderism. Nope, transhumanism.
What show are we doing?
I'm trying to get the slide. I'm not a multitasker. I've said it before. I'm full on. So it's technological enhancement, human augmentation, life extension, post-humanism, optimism, and bodily autonomy. I don't understand how they can even with a straight face say bodily autonomy when you are not going to have bodily autonomy when you have implants and you're hooked into the cloud.
But the bodily autonomy, these are the principles of transhumanism. So the bodily autonomy is emphasizing individual choice and the freedom to choose enhancements, advocating for a future where individuals have the right to control their own bodies and minds. Now, we know from our government, again, he would be very disappointed in our government because we weren't given the choice
that's my point.
for over the last 3 years with what happened to our bodily autonomy. It was forced upon us, or we were punished by being exercised from society, etc. So these here, 2, 4, 6, these are the 6 principles of transhumanism: technological enhancement, human augmentation, life extension, post-humanism, optimism. I thought optimism was funny, but remaining optimistic in one's outlook of tomorrow's technologies, considering transhumanist progress and the post-human future, and improvement to the human condition.
Oh, it's very ironic, and we'll get into that too. And so ultimately, one of the main goals, besides messing with humanity and God's creation, is the technological singularity, or simply the singularity.
Yes. And I had never heard this term before, the technological singularity. It is a hypothetical future point in time at which technological growth becomes uncontrollable and irreversible, resulting in an unforeseeable consequences for human civilization. According to the most popular version of the singularity hypothesis, I.J. Goode's intelligence explosion model, an upgradable intelligent agent will eventually enter a runaway reaction of self-improvement cycles, each new and more intelligent generation appearing more and more rapidly, causing an explosion in intelligence and resulting in a powerful super intelligence that qualitatively far surpasses all human intelligence.
Wow,
and
that was really good. Well
thank
done.
you. And now everybody who watched our Monday show where we did the alien, that was one of the things that was one of the things that the alien talked about. AI being the
right.
alien show.
The CGI guy. Okay, yeah. Anyway, go on.
But he talked about the extinction of the human being based on AI, this super intelligence that was going to definitely far outpace us and surpass our intelligence to the point where it's now running the world. And eventually that will be our doom, and it'll cause our extinction. And this singularity, technological singularity, is part of the transhumanism movement, where they talk about at some point in time, and depending on which transhumanist you read or talk to or listen to, because there's a plethora of them, some are saying before 1929, some are saying, or sorry, not 1929, my apologies. Some are saying before 2030, so 2029 will be the year that AI reaches that singularity moment of intelligence. And some are saying definitely by the year 2045, we will reach that, AI will reach that singularity point of intelligence that far surpasses us, and that will be the beginning of the end of the human being.
Whew.
Right? It's kind of scary stuff.
Yeah. Well, back to the optimism. So basically all the aspects of the internet, all of a sudden AI becomes self-aware and co-ops all of the Internet of Things. And then there are a bunch of people are saying, well, that's going to happen anyway, so we may as well get hooked into the cloud. We may as well augment our brains. We may as well augment everything so we can go beyond a cyborg and get really just basically download our consciousness into the cloud and become one with this AI.
Exactly.
I can't see any downside to that personally.
We'll talk about the downside.
Yeah, unless you forget your password.
Unless I forget my password.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things that I found after Chris said, no more, stop, because at some point in time, he has to cut me off, or I will just keep throwing clips and information at him, because I love to read and I love to dig. And because I don't understand the technology side, Chris does all of that, and I just keep piling it on. He's like, stop. No more. Well, sure enough, about 10, 15 minutes after he said that, I found the technologies for transhumanism. So Chris said I could read that out, that he was not doing another slide because he still had all these slides to get up that I'd already sent him earlier. So
just one man.
He is just one. Unfortunately, we don't really have a team. It's me and Chris and Michael Chuchong. But Michael Chuchong gets the luxury of not having me throwing stuff at him to produce into clips. So Chris is the one that gets that luxury.
Yeah.
So now that we've done the principles of transhumanism, it only makes sense that we list off the technologies for transhumanism. So, and you know what? You can watch a lot of movies that actually have a lot of these technologies intertwined in them, which is incredible to me. But anyway, so there's 6. Oh, just like there's 6 principles, there are 6 technologies for transhumanism. One is mind uploading, which is a digital scan of the brain, which uploads the contents of your brain to an external device. So basically, it's living forever by way of digital immortality, or existing in a simulation, or regenerated as a copy. So there's lots of movies and shows out. Netflix has a series that we were watching. Is it called Uploaded?
Yeah, Upload. Yeah, it was really good. It was very funny.
Which is it explains this mind uploading perfectly.
Well, Microsoft has talked about it now, and I mean, they're openly talking about clones and downloading your consciousness into a clone. Problem is, somewhere in the small print, they tell you, well, we can do the consciousness, but we can't really do the spirit part.
Exactly.
So,
the second technology for transhumanism is cryogenic freezing, which essentially is the deep freezing of human remains for future revival. Now, typically, it's the head. They really want to keep the head because the head is where the brain is, where all your memories and your data is stored, your information is stored. And that's what they want access to.
There is a really great documentary on that called Futurama, if you want to just look that up and watch all 9 seasons of that.
Exactly. Now, they can cryogenically freeze all of you, but the head, the brain, is the most important part for future revival. The third tool or technology is genetic engineering, which is the manipulating of DNA or your genes for specific outcomes. Most of the outcomes they look at are heightened intelligence, eradicated disease, and of course, human traits. And we all know that part of the mRNA experimentation is manipulating genes. It's gene therapy, and that is what genetic engineering is. So, guys, all those people who got some mRNA, you have been genetically modified in some way. You are now part of the transhumanism plan, possibly.
Right. Yeah.
Possibly.
So, so there's that.
There's that. The fourth technology is called artificial super intelligence.
Oh, we're still going. Okay.
We are still going. So
All
it's
right.
not, you know what? There's 7. There's not 6. I miscounted.
Okay.
So artificial super intelligence, which is computers to acquire cognitive abilities that far surpass human beings. Technological singularity, which we just talked about. It's basically symbiosis of human machines encoded by humans. Basically, humans encode the machines, and then the machines start taking off from that encoding that is put in there. And then lo and behold, they surpass what the humans put in because they're learning at such an incredibly fast rate. We can't keep up. Cyborgs. Sorry. Cyborgs. I do have my readers on. This is funny.
I love today. Come back a robot. Why?
Yeah. So cyborgs, and I didn't know this, cyborg is actually short for cybernetic organisms. I didn't know that. All right, smarty pants. So cybernetic organisms is beings that are composed of both biological and artificial parts, or humanoids is another name for them. So basically you get to keep the human aesthetics. So emotions, consciousness that make us human, but we get to constantly upgrade our parts to avoid biological decay or enhance natural abilities via robotication. Oh, that's where I put the gentleman's name. So the very first person to be considered legally a transhuman cyborg is Neil Harbison, and he was colorblind, so he had transhumanist eyes or cyborg eyes, artificial eyes implanted, and now he can not only see colors, but he can actually see colors that we humans can't see. So
sounds a lot like Geordie LaForge,
right? Exactly. The sixth one is hive mind technologies, which is the integration of integrated individuals to create a decentralized collective intelligence or consciousness in its implanted brain computer interfaces, which we did talk about when we did the biodigital convergence show.
Yeah. I mean, Elon Musk is way ahead of that, and it's not just putting a chip in your brain. They put in like a nano mesh tube all through the veins in your brain, so it can pick up and transmit better.
And the dust.
Crazy. And then there's the smart dust.
Yeah. And this is currently being trialed in humans right now as we speak. It's happening, folks. But what they're hoping to enable is the ability to not only share your intelligence, but share your dreams, your emotions, communication. And as Chris said, Neuralink, BrainGate, and Neurable are both turning brain waves. Their intention is to turn brain waves thoughts into action. So Chris could be sitting here and be manipulating my hands just with his thoughts. So that's what they're talking about. That's the next phase of the hive mind technology. And then
no comment.
I see where your brain just went instantly. A lot of husbands, I think, would love to have this technology with their wives. Yeah, I saw it.
No,
I saw it. I'll call it out. And then the last technology that they're using for transhumanism is nanotechnology. Again, anyone who participated in the last 3 years in the experiment, you may very well be considered a transhumanist, or you may very well be in the transhumanist human trials for nanotechnology, which is the manipulation of matter at the nanoscale, which results in altering molecular structures, physical change, and possibly conductivity.
CRISPR,
and it's a targeted drug delivery system. It can be used for regenerative therapies, is how they're selling it. Regenerative therapies, vivo nanobots programmed to internally diagnose and treat patients. So that's how they're selling you on these technologies is, oh, it's going to cure you of diseases. It's going to make you feel better. It's going to increase your intelligence. And oh my gosh, the athletic abilities you're going to have are going to be crazy. Those are the technologies.
Oh, yes. The movie Bloodshot depicts transhumanism. Yes, that was quite the thing. And also, what was a Hardcore Harry, kind of same thing. Both movies that for investigative and research purposes you should watch. Yeah.
Senior Canuck says, stressing me out again. I'm so sorry. I don't mean to stress you out, Senior Canuck.
Well, just when you think, well, there's not that, there it is. It's a basic philosophy. No, it's not. People are camping up over this thing, and you've got even political aspects and political factions over this whole thing now. So democratic transhumanism is a term coined by James Hughes in 2002, refers to the stance of transhumanists, advocates for the development and use of human enhancement technologies, who espouse liberal, social, and or radical democratic political views. According to Hughes, the ideology stems from the assertion that human beings will genetically be happier.
Generally.
And also eventually genetically be happier when they take rational control of the natural and social forces that control their lives. So you're out of control. You don't feel like you're in control of yourself. You're not born in the body. You just don't feel like you're who you are, you can't identify with anything, well, then just implant a whole bunch of crap that you have to pay us for later.
And you'll be fine.
And everything will make you happy. So that's democratic transhumanism. Libertarian transhumanism, however, is a political ideology synthesizing libertarianism and transhumanism. Libertarian transhumanists believe that the principle of self-ownership is the most fundamental idea from both which libertarianism and transhumanism stem.
There you go.
And then finally,
Marxist transhumanists believe that the class struggle central to Marxist approach to society and economics must be central in a transhumanist context, arguing that the class struggle, transhumanism, will amount to a form of elitism due to free market mechanisms.
True.
Furthermore, it is argued that this trend is already occurring in the early stages, citing Brian Johnson's costly medical treatments and Jeff Bezos' Altos Labs as proof that the capitalist class is slowly gaining the ability to obtain longevity treatments while the rest of us working class people die at a rate of 100,000 per day.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's somewhat true already. You've seen that. You've seen
Sandra Bullock with her penis sac, injections to keep her young.
Well, that really had nothing to do with nothing.
Show.
I know, but you didn't need to. We didn't. That was unnecessary.
But it is part of transhumanism to keep you young, keep you from aging.
And then In Time is another one, right? Where only the rich can afford, and so all of the trends goes towards the rich are going to have, and the poor are not, and sooner or later the rich elites will be uploaded into the cloud.
Carbon. That's
Altered Carbon's another one. Yeah, they're all talking about that stuff.
Yeah.
Democratic transhumanism basically is identified as liberal transhumanism. Is there anyone on the planet who thinks that all of these people are crazy? Thank God for the anarchists.
Nope.
Anarcho-transhumanism is a philosophy synthesizing anarchism and transhumanism that is concerned with both social and physical freedom, respectively. Nano-transhumanists, narco-transhumanists define freedom as the expansion of one's own ability to experience the world around them. And an anarcho-transhumanist may advocate various praxis to advance their ideals, including computer hacking, three-dimensional printing, or biohacking, which we've talked about on the show.
Yes. Anarcho-transhumanists also criticize non-anarchist forms of transhumanism, such as democratic transhumanism and libertarian transhumanism, as incoherent and unsurvivable due to the preservation of the state. They view such instruments of power as inherently unethical and incompatible with the acceleration of social and material freedom for all individuals. Anarcho-transhumanism is generally anti-capitalist, arguing capitalist accumulation of wealth would lead to dystopia while partnered with transhumanism, instead advocating for equal access to advanced technologies that enable morphological freedom and space travel.
Right. So yeah, space travel, number one.
Got to throw space travel in there.
Right. So already people are saying, well, what happens with transhumanism is we achieve singularity. And there's already people camping up.
Yeah.
They're already trying to divide
Space
something that hasn't even happened. So there it is. They're already tribing up over something that isn't even a thing yet. So people are already picking their camps and calling other camps stupid. So it doesn't matter how much technology, how many times you stick someone on a battery. It looks like human nature going to be people be crazy.
People be crazy.
Right. So they're already creating political philosophies around something that they can't even comprehend yet. I don't think we fully understand how dangerous and fundamentally societal changing this is going to be.
Well, we're already starting to see it with the Panoptic Society, right? Which is a word I learned today. So I'm like, you gonna use it.
Should have laid that one on me earlier, so I'd know what you're talking about. But.
So Panoptic Society, I'll tell you, it is a sense of being perpetually watched, and it instills discipline.
Mm-hmm.
So we now live in a super panopticon. In other words, super panopticon.
Yeah.
I learned a lot today, I'm telling you.
That new word of the day, toilet paper, is paying off, eh?
Right? Yeah. I'm loving it. I love to learn. I'm a bit of a geek that way. So it's and necessary for transhumanist technologies to create and strengthen existing power structures, and it's evident in our algorithms. Basically, transhumanism right now, they have the Panoptic Society happening, or the Super Panopticon happening, which is them stealing our information, because in order for them to build their systems and their structures and their technologies, they need information to do that. So what they're doing is they're surveilling our society, which they've been doing with our credit cards, our ATM cards, our social media.
Well, they're giving us free stuff too. They're huge payoffs on crypto, so we help build the blockchain banking technology for them. They give us things like ChatGPT and cheap AI programs, so we start building and training the AI for us. For our own prison, basically.
Exactly, and they keep laying hard on this, that it will create a world based on quantifiable data or information as we lose sight of our souls, as our souls and our emotions are intangible information that may not maintain its rightful place in human affairs in the future. They want to get rid of everything that makes us human.
Well, and that's the ultimate goal. I think that's the big showstopper at the end there. We'll get back into that. So a lot of the people that you think should be working on AI are in fact working on AI. Time did a top 100 people involved in AI, which is also transhumanism. This is you can go to this list. You can go to transhumanism on Wikipedia. That's a whole nother, that includes Yuval Harari and Greg Bear, which we talked about today. So there's the link for the Time collection that you can go to, and you can see who's involved with AI and transhumanism and all that stuff.
Of course, the notables are there.
Right.
Sam Altman, Elon Musk.
Right.
Stephen Hawking.
Yeah. For under the transhumanism list, Greg Bear is there. And that was not shocking, because I used to like Greg Bear. He's a sci-fi novel or author. And I read a book of his called Blood Music, and it was exactly this. And it was basically, he had created smart DNA that was a living organism, and his lab was going to get shut down, so he injected it into his body to sneak it out, and next thing you know, it started taking over his body and improving it. So at first it was great because he could run faster, he didn't need to sleep anymore, he ate very little, and he was stronger than ever. But then eventually it started breaking his body down because it found his body too inefficient. And so everyone he touched, same thing, they would transfer themselves, and this organism just got smarter and smarter and became this living being, and it absorbed and assimilated everybody into the hive mind collective consciousness. And the book ended, I don't know if I should spoiler alert for you, mute this part if you don't want to know the ending, but it basically ended with one woman left on the planet, and she didn't want to lose her autonomy.
No.
Right. She didn't want to lose her autonomy or individuality. So they respected her, and they just gave her everything they needed. Set her up to the department and fed her and gave her everything that she needed. But the rest of humanity all over the world was a part of this collective consciousness, and according to them, it was much better because they all worked together, and it was like utopia.
It was the mind hive.
Right. Yeah. So
actually,
it's
that book incorporated most of the technologies, right?
Exactly
the
right.
Mind
So
uploading.
it's not shocking to me.
No,
Blood Music's really a good book. Actually, it was a very good book. Very
Sounds
compelling.
like a good one.
It was.
You should read it.
It's worth reading. Yeah, so it's not shocking to me that Greg Bear would be on that list. So you can see who's involved, and as far as AI goes, of course, there's Elon Musk, and find out who all the people are. But these people who are doing AI are also very involved in transhumanism, and that should be a big red flag for you.
And the lists overlap for the humanist movement. So I always thought the humanist movement was like all about humanity and saving humanity and whatever. But as it turns out, eugenists, humanists, transhumanists, they all overlap.
Yeah.
They're all intertwined.
They were. And ironically, humanism is basically philosophy saying that it rejects faith in favor of reason, which that term itself is flawed because it implies that people with faith have no reason and people who reason have no faith. And I mean, that's a debate for a whole nother day. But that's the whole thing. The humanism is actually just another religion. And that's the ironic part. So they're just sort of waiting till the Christians and Muslims and the Jews all destroy each other. And then when they can point at religion and say, hey, it failed, then they can go to a humanistic centered point of view. Right. And basically a new religion, but it's a set of laws based on humanism.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that is in Albert Pike's letter. So it's coming. It was written in the 1800s, and we've read that right out here on the show.
Yeah. It's pretty gross. Another, I want to say this, another word that I learned today, seed AI. Did you know what seed AI is?
Nope.
No, I didn't either. It means superhuman intelligence or amplification of human intelligence, or AI. It vastly improves over human problem solving and inventive skills. It has the potential to autonomously improve, without your knowledge, its own software and hardware. That is seed AI, which is, again, super AI, which again is one of the tools of transhumanism, or technologies of transhumanism.
Right. So
we are the seeds.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, that's basically what it means. We are the seeds. So stop giving it our information.
Yeah, good idea.
It might be too late for
Get
that.
off the internet for now and again.
It might be too late for that.
Go click on stuff you wouldn't normally click on.
There you go.
So advantages, of course, are enhanced performance in different areas, increased longevity, possible immortality, eradicating disease, and some kick-ass sports when you get like these superhuman athletes, right? Disadvantages, repo man comes and gets your stuff that you're not paying for, patented materials inside of you. You don't want somebody else's patented trademarked material anywhere in your body that can be removed. You can be controlled through money or through hacking or through many different ways. You have your loss of identity because you're not a cyborg. So if that's your identity, it's the same thing with sexuality. Sexuality is not your main identity, and people who get lost in that are lost deeper than they know. And then you loss of autonomy because now you're hooked into the cloud, keeping up with the Joneses. Everyone else has a new iPhone, so you need a new iPhone. But this time, every time you need a new iPhone, you have to get surgery.
That's it. It's FOMO. Keeping up with the Joneses and FOMO.
Right. An extinction of the human race. Now you think, well, FOMO won't happen, but imagine being in a room and everyone around you starts laughing. And you don't know why, but they've been texting each other inside their brains because they're hooked into the internet, or they're sharing a meme back and forth in their brains. The room is silent, but they all start laughing because they've all been communicating. How long before your teenager is clawing at the teeth to get them this system?
All you have to do is ask yourself how many times you were pestered about getting the shot so they could go out to dinner or go to the bowling alley or go to a movie with their friends. Imagine that like 100 times worse if they're not part of the conversation.
Yeah, you don't think they won't somebody scooping out their brain and sticking a chip in there? Of course they do. They're willing to cut off their own genitalia right now.
Yeah.
So of course they're going to be into this, and they're going to tell you you're crazy. I mean, exactly. They don't even know why they're lost, and we went over that all weekend. But you're kind of the last generation. Like, I knew that we were the last generation that realized that porn does damage to kids, and the younger generation, they think you're crazy. Yeah. Right? So you and maybe your kids are going to be the last generation that understand the actual damage that doing irreparable harm to your brain is going to do. Mm-hmm. And they won't see that. It'll just be utopia for them because they can hook straight into meta. And they can do video games. It's like Ready Player One, but they'll be able to do that in their brains, and they'll be able to hook into VR and augmented reality all the time.
Well, in some of the ways that they're selling this to people is not only, the medical benefits, And the rewards, you never have to age again. You'll stay young forever. But one of the other benefits they're saying is this will equal out the playing field, because nobody will be better than anybody, because you have the authority now to say, yes, give me better eyes. Yes, give me a better brain. Yes, I want to be part of the hive. Yes, I want a bionic arm. Yes, I want. So nobody will get left behind. This will equal the field. However, we all know things are not free.
No.
Things are either going to cost money or time or privacy.
Remember, if you don't have to pay for the product, you are the product.
Exactly. So a lot of people, like there's many people on both sides of the coin that think that this is the greatest thing on earth. And then there's other people that are saying this is great. However, it's not going to create an equal base. It's not going to create equality across the fields. What it's going to do is cause an even greater divide, because the haves will continue to have, and they will far supersede an evolutionary course for human being than those who are in the have-not class, because they won't ever be able to afford to catch up. Right. Or the risk that they will take on will be so much greater in order to try and catch up, that we will actually be signing away the care and control of our body, which one of the things that we've talked about in the past is, the Internet of Bodies, where your body will become the tool for running electricity. You now have to do 100 jumping jacks in order to get the better eyes, whereas the other guy can just buy eyes and it's fine. And eventually that risk of what you have to do will get worse and worse and worse. And there was something I read today where they were saying the risk will become greater for a lower reward. And as Yuval Harari, and we played the video of him saying that our transhumanism is going to explode to the point where super AI is going to take over and will be running everything, which will put a lot of people out of work. Or only those who are augmented with transhumanism parts will have the jobs, and they will beat you out of jobs, which will put a lot of people on the unemployment line. Right. Hence, universal basic income comes into the rescue. However, that universal basic income is slowly going to be chopped and chopped and chopped and become less and less and less. And the government is now going to require you to do more, put yourself at a higher risk for a lower reward. Oh, you want a strawberry to eat today? No problem. Now you have to ride that bike for 8 hours to get one strawberry. Yep. And it's going to be to the point where your body is so stressed or overloaded or exhausted that you end up making the choice to extinct yourself.
Right. Well, that's
part of transhumanism.
Well, no, that's like a transitional phase of transhumanism. Like ultimately, they want us to be completely one, or our consciousness, who knows where that leaves humanity, with AI. And again, who knows where AI is coming from? We will probably talk more about AI and the fact that quantum computing dips into different alternate realities, and that can never end up good.
No, but one of the things they're saying is, the masses, which is people like us, we are so much more than the elite or global predators in my books. We represent an even bigger threat to them. With the technological power, if we were ever to get it in our hands, the global predators would be done. So this will justify them bringing on in even more aggressive and authoritarian actions against us. And we will start living under the panoptic society. It'll become normal for a culture of surveillance, so that the elites will always keep their power over us and will always be in control of the technology. And then there's, they're saying that eventually we are going to get to that singularity moment, and humans will be extinct in this form of life that we currently know.
Mm-hmm. You want to try one more video, see if it works? We're not sure this will work, so we'll try it.
I just want you to know.
I love you, Mommy and Daddy. I know you do, sweetheart. And I'm going to ask you to take the filter off. Will you do that for me?
I think I've been uncomfortable for a very long time.
We know.
I've been thinking ever since I was born that I don't belong in this body.
Oh my God.
It's all right.
It's really okay, darling.
I've been reading up on it. And I think I'm trans.
Oh, sweetheart. Oh, it's all right, darling. I swear.
It really is. Now look at us. We're fine. We're completely fine, aren't we? And I know we might be a bit slow and a bit old, and this is going to be confusing for us, and we'll make a mess of it sometimes, but we love you.
We love you. We absolutely love you. We always will. I mean, we don't need to rush. We've got lots of time to talk about this.
And if it turns out that we've got a lovely son instead of a lovely daughter, then we'll be happy.
No, I'm not transsexual.
Oh,
Is that not the word now?
but you said trans.
What did we call you then?
I'm not transsexual. I'm transhuman.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, they keep changing the words. I don't know the difference.
I don't want to change sex.
No, sure. We say gender now, don't we? I'm sorry.
I said I'm not comfortable with my body, so I want to get rid of it. This thing, all the arms and legs and every single bit of it. I don't want to be flesh. I'm really sorry, but I'm going to escape this thing and become digital.
What do you mean?
They say one day, soon, they'll have clinics in Switzerland where you can go and you'll sign a form and they'll take your brain and download it into the cloud.
And your body?
Recycled into the earth.
So you want to kill yourself?
I want to live forever as information because that's what transhumans are, Mum. Not male or female, better. Where I'm going, there's no life or death. There's only data. I will be data.
You know it's coming.
We do know it's coming.
Mhm.
Even the transhumanists are saying it's coming.
Right. Yeah, we're not paying attention to it, and that's part of that is intentional. It's transhumanism. Well, that's better.
Yeah. Well, they are saying the transhumanism folks are split on what this will look like. One is uploading the mind into a digital form and settling in the cosmos. And the other side of transhumanism, because everybody's divided these days, no one's on the same side, believes that we will remain organic beings, but rewire or upgrade our biology through genetic engineering and other methods, basically designer babies and artificial wombs and anti-aging therapies and all of that sort of stuff. So even the transhumanist community can't agree on what it is, but they do all agree that it could very well mean the extinction of the human being as we currently know it.
Right. So how did we get here? Well, transhumanism, I think, is just an extension of the human condition, and that is we are lost. As a people, we're lost, and there are people who want to use that void to manipulate and to destroy. And so when it comes to transhumanism, just like any other ism, There are leaders and there are followers, and the followers are lost and they're trying to find their identity. But unfortunately, what they don't know is the way to find that purpose and that destiny has been hidden from them intentionally in order to control and to manipulate. If you have no purpose and destiny, you are depressed. And if you're depressed, you are super easy to control. And then if you follow with the eugenics, not only do they want to force the next level of and to redirect the next level of evolution, but they also want to destroy anybody who doesn't measure up to that next level of and again, we're going to do a show on this, but eugenics never went away. No. Ever. And that's the thing, we're still working under that twisted philosophy that we've got to make society a better place by getting rid of certain people. Now I know that we're in the place where some of us think that Thanos is right, and I get that, cheaper rent for everybody and all that stuff. But we are here because we do not have we don't have a core identity. We have lost our way, and we will look for anything but the obvious solution. And the obvious solution is just stop rebelling against God. There's freedom in knowing who you are. And, you don't find that through division or strife or any of that stuff. You find that by working through a journey towards who you are meant to be, finding your purpose in your destiny. And there are people who understand. The followers are lost, but there are also people out there who are not followers. They're the leaders in this, and they want to actively destroy what God has created. And they want to remake the world in their own image now because they want to be gods. And they're actually trying to sell us on the idea of being gods now. And that is kind of the ultimate coup with transhumanism. So creating so-called artificial general intelligence, that is an AI system that can do all of the cognitive tasks a human can do and more, is a current focus within Silicon Valley. AGI is seen as vital to enabling us to take on the godlike role of designing our own evolutionary futures. That is eugenics. So eugenics never went away. That is to the T eugenics. Whether the evolutionary process is determined by a super intelligent AI or advanced capitalism, and it's not really even capitalism anymore. It's corporate oligarchy is probably closer to a proper description. We may be compelled to conform to a perpetual transcendence that only makes us more efficient at activities demanded by the most powerful system. The endpoint is predictably an entirely non-human, though very efficient, technological entity derived from humanity that doesn't necessarily serve a purpose that a modern-day human would value in any way. The ability to serve the system effectively will be the driving force. This is also true of natural evolution. Technology is not a simple tool that allows us to engineer ourselves out of this conundrum, but transhumanism could amplify the speed and at least desirable aspects of the process. So they're talking about godlike, and they're saying that we will serve the most powerful system, and we were built to serve the system, and the system will make us efficient in that way. That's already happening.
Yeah, but they're saying it'll make us super intelligent, give us super longevity, and the biggest selling point of all, super happiness.
But
because it'll give us our purpose. We no longer will need to search out purpose. They will tell us our purpose in order to survive.
But so, I mean, these things are happening already. We're already having reality created for us in the form of AI running Twitter. It's creating narratives and transforming the narrative on both sides, gives us what we think we want to see, but also it pushes new narratives on us that we have to avoid and ignore. And it's crafting and weaving a tale all over together. So it understands the full tapestry. We only see a portion of it. And AI is doing that with Twitter right now. And then the other thing is, as we all know, I mean, I did a video on it like 2 years ago, BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street. By now, we all know that they own pretty much everything. They have major shares in all of the major goings on in the world. They have reported that their AI, Artemis, is the most advanced AI on the planet. So essentially, Artemis is running the commerce for the companies that run the commerce, and we're buying based on what Artemis buys. And for example, when Warren Buffett says, I'm going to buy stocks in Coke, everybody's buying stocks in Coke. And if he's already bought stocks in Coke, they're going to shoot right up. Artemis is doing the same thing. And we're serving that system. So in a crazy roundabout way, AI is already running the planet and is already manipulating billions of people.
Exactly. Saskia Assassin, I saw this quote and I thought, wow, this is perfect. When you're talking about, taking away our center, taking away our beliefs, taking away our faith, and having God not be at the center of everything, she actually said here, the oppressed have often risen against their masters, but today the oppressed have mostly been expelled and survive a great distance from their oppressors. The oppressor is increasingly a complex system that combines persons, networks, and machines with no obvious center. Because God is typically our moral center. And if we give in or cave into transhumanism and that becomes our center, then we've got nothing. We've got nothing. Our soul, our consciousness, our love, our emotional being that makes us people, our consciousness will be gone.
Right. I mean, we just 2 weeks ago, we replayed a show that we did a long time ago called Identity Thieves. It all kind of goes right into that. There has been this concerted effort to erase personal and collective and national identities. So once it's erased, they can start inputting the identity that they want in us. But if we've lost that connection with God, because that's how you find your purpose and destiny, and once that is gone, then you think your identity is something else. And that's where you get kids thinking, well, my identity is in my gender. It's not.
No, it's not.
Right? Or my identity is in my sexuality. It's not. Like, that's a small portion of who you are, but that is not your purpose and your destiny. And the first pillar of that to go was erasing good and evil. And erasing those two lines, because at least if we had clear visions of what good and evil was, where you sit on that spectrum. And that's a good start to be. Do you want to be a helper or do you want to be a hindrance? And so the kind of honestly, the last pillar of identity is, am I male or female? I mean, that's the last stable image of identity, and they've erased that now. And so now they're going after just being human at all.
Exactly.
Right. And when you upload your consciousness, your spirit doesn't go with it. So good luck on trying to figure out how that works. But
no, and like I said, the fourth industrial revolution, that's what they talk about all the time. If they can, get us to stop being anonymous and stop being spontaneous, they win. They win, because those are all humanistic traits. It's not a trait of a computer. It's not a trait of an AI. It's not a trait of a robot. It's the trait of human being: spontaneity, anonymity, autonomous, and the ability to change your mind on the drop of a dime, change your belief system, change your favorite color, and have a conscience about the decisions you make.
Right.
Computers don't have that. AI doesn't have that. Robots don't have that.
And so they're talking about singularity, and basically, and we will falter our individuality for the collective good. And that is not one or the other. So it's your individuality within. You are a piece of the puzzle. You're in a big piece of the puzzle, but it's your individuality, your personal experiences, and your thoughts and your ideas that work together with a tapestry. And that's how it works. Not everyone is not sacrificing their identity, individuality and their identity for the collective. That's not how that should work. It doesn't make strength. It makes weakness.
So welcome to transhumanism, folks. Are we going to fall? Are we going to fall into the cavity of darkness? Are we going to play the game of our own extinction? Or are we going to fight back against the systemic dehumanization? What are we going to do?
Well, I'm going to be walking around with a big magnet. I know that I will be. That's what I'm doing.
Are we going to cave to the marketing of standards of limitless possibilities versus the standard of physical, spiritual, and mental well-being?
Right. And of all the evil people in the world, it's the marketers that are the worst. These are the guys who are saying, hey, how can we take something completely vitriolic and insipid and evil and put a spin on it so people will want to buy it and sell it to the masses? Those people, they're probably the most destructive force on the planet.
You know what? If we can get people just to buy in and understand that your soul is infinite, and that your soul has limitless possibilities under the hand of God, we might win.
Yeah. I mean, once you're released from this, body flesh suit, then, then it's all the things that transhumanism promises. There it is, without the, without the cloud aspect, without the bio and digital hacking aspect. And you can walk away with your soul intact. So, hey, that's a bonus too, right?
There you go.
Big subject.
It's a big subject. I hope we
just scratched the surface. There's no way we covered anywhere near what we needed to cover on that.
No, it's a lot. It was a lot of reading. It was a lot of deep diving. It was a lot of...
we didn't even get into the scary stuff on quantum computing. Like there's all sorts of stuff. So the takeaway really isn't that bad things are coming. The takeaway is find your purpose and destiny. And if you're not sure what that is, that will be the strength that carries you forward through whatever storm comes your way, whether it's Kate Middleton being dead already, whether it's solar flares taking us out on the 8th, whether it's Basel 4, it doesn't matter. You got a good identity. You know your purpose and destiny. Nothing touches you. So some people will call that higher vibrations, I guess. Yeah.
That's it. Hold fast. Know who you are.
Right. This is winnable too. Yeah.
It is 100%
don't think it's all
winnable.
dystopian. It's all winnable against these evil people.
Again, the masses are larger than those global predators. There is more of us than there is of them. But as long as we continue to build our prisons for them, they will continue with the illusion that they are winning. Right. But in reality, we've always had the strength in our numbers and in our identity and in our individualism and in our spontaneity. We have the ability to win. Just keep the faith.
Repentance and prayer isn't a bad idea either.
And fasting.
And fasting. They're trying to erase that from the Bible, which is another show we're going to do one day. Okay, so that is it for transhumanism. We will see you on Thursday with another live show. And it's sort of a whole new subject, but part 2 to hear. We've foreshadowed it already. It's not me, Genix. So there's your hint. There's a hint. So... all right.
Hope your week was off to a great start, and hope to see you on Thursday. And don't forget, April 1st, there's all kinds of rallies and protests going on with regards to the carbon tax that the government will be increasing by 23% as they give themselves another raise. The rest of us can't afford to put food on our tables and keep the roofs over our heads and our beds warm. But you know what? The government can afford to give themselves a raise as they take another 23% from us. So keep your eyes and ears peeled for where the protests are happening in your city or province. There's a lot of convoys going to borders. There's a lot of bridge protests happening. There's a lot of protests happening at legislatures and House of Commons. April 1st, that is the day. And you know what? You can start protesting really any day, but I know the big protest is April 1st.
Well,
what can you do, Chris?
You can take your money out if you got your money in one of the big 6 banks, take it out. Take it out now and either keep it at home or put it into a credit union, like a local credit union. Take it out of the big 6 banks because they are building your prison faster than anyone else. And we need to defund the banks and we need to defund our government. So we're going to start with the banks. That's coming. We're about to launch this in a big way. take your money out of the big 6 banks immediately, and that way your bank account doesn't get frozen, and you're not funding the prisons that they're being built against you. You're not funding the war against yourself.
Exactly.
So yeah,
and if you take all your money out, then when the bank or when the government decides to freeze your bank,
too bad.
Then it doesn't matter because there's no money in there anyway.
Yeah, can't freeze my cash.
There you go.
Okay, well, that's it for tonight. Thanks everybody. We will see you on Thursday. Thanks for watching. Bye everybody.
Bye everyone.